Let's try it again. Good afternoon, everybody. Earlier on, we had the task of making a list, right? And you've either done it today, or most of you have done it before, where you've gotten a list of people that you want to contact. And so we want to figure out now, what is the purpose of this list? Why is the list important? So what do you guys think? Why is the list important? Why is it important to have a list of names? What do you guys think? Make it more interactive today.
You have to start somewhere. And the only way to talk to people is when you have people on a list. So mine was on the PC, but I started writing in a book this morning. I had the printout, but yeah, it wasn't near 100 people. So it's very important to start somewhere.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we can take from this morning's task is when you ask people to do something, you need to give a smaller task. Because not everybody is going to do something when you give sort of like 100 names to do. Whereas if we had 10 names to write down, everybody would have done it. If we do the exercise now where everybody writes down as many names as possible in 5 minutes, we'll have more than 10 names per person. So I think that is important to remember as well. Meryl, did you want to say something? You can just unmute and your point.
Okay, Russell, for me, the importance of a name list is also it forces you to go into your contacts, and you are then reminded of people that you forgot about. Even with me doing my status every day, and you keep on getting new people, going into your status and reading it. So now you can use those names and say, oh, I saw you love watching my status, how can I assist? Or are you interested in making extra money or looking after your health? Whatever you want to do. Yeah. And it's just super awesome if you have, because then also it forces you to go over to action. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing. And if we look at just the name of this tool that we've got, the Ultimate Memory Jogger, the word memory in there just points to the fact that you're going to forget about people. Especially if there's hundreds. I mean, most people have hundreds of people on their phone's contact book, their contact list on their phone. And keeping track of just 100 people alone is very difficult. So that's one thing we can take from the task of getting 100 people down. And if it's so difficult to write 100 names, then imagine how difficult it is to remember 100 people and what you've said to them and what they've bought last and that sort of thing. So we really need to get to a point where we are writing things down more often. And if we look at...
Sorry. Also for me, the big thing is, if it is a challenge, even from your phone, go to Facebook. And it's so easy because you can immediately see all the people, and if you don't have their number, just go to Messenger and send them a message to say, can I have your contact number? It's amazing how many people I have, more than 2 pages with people that just gave me their number on Facebook. Thank you. That was not in contacts.
Meryl, did you have something more to say than Welcome.
Yes.
Finally hear you.
Okay, I just want to say, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Right. I've just recently gone onto Facebook. Okay. And I was looking today about Facebook, what to do, and I'm glad that that Hazel spoke about it, because there are numbers there that I want to contact, but I don't really know how to contact them on Facebook. Is it exactly the same as WhatsApp?
No, it's very different from WhatsApp. So we can do a session on that. I think what I'll do today is I'll try and collect as much of data of what people are struggling with, and we can then focus on that tomorrow. Hopefully, we won't have load shedding as bad tomorrow, although it's unlikely that we'll have it any better tomorrow. But whatever time we have tomorrow, we can then focus on those things that people are struggling with. And I think Facebook is a very good option to focus on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely go through some of that tomorrow, because it's something that I want to focus on for myself as well, because I've got all of that background knowledge about the marketing and stuff on Facebook. So it's the perfect place for me to actually do business. And yet I don't do much business on Facebook, if any. So it's time for me to also grow in that sense. So if we look here at the 7 skills in 7 days, basically the GoPro book, we'll find that Meryl, you can just mute after making a point, and then when you want to say something, you just unmute again, just so that there's, because sometimes there's background noise if you put the cup down or something and it interferes with the recording. So just get in the habit of muting whenever you're not saying anything, and then unmute when you want to say something. Perfect. Awesome. Because then I also don't have to monitor the participants list while I'm trying to present. So I'm just gonna make this full screen so we can focus on it. And of course, we've done the GoPro book in the book clubs. We've done the 7 skills in 7 days in training quite a few times. And the very first skill that Eric Worre says is the sort of the first skill that you need to learn in the business is finding prospects. Like Mary Lisa said, how would you know who to speak to if you don't know where to find them, right? And writing it from the list, like Hazel said again, you find that you will over time forget. Zoe, please remember to mute when you're not speaking. Thank you. It is very distracting if you're not muted, because I can hear in the background as well. So yeah, finding prospects is the first step. So that is why there was the task of writing 100 names. Now, whether you wrote no names down, 5 names, 100 names, it's quite irrelevant, because you never have an excuse of who to speak to, because your phone on its own has contacts. You, like Basil said, and we've been speaking about now, Facebook, there's loads of contacts. And if all you're going to do is use WhatsApp for starters, you've still got that contact list that you can speak to. So finding people should never be an issue. And one of the big things about the Ultimate Memory Jogger book, if you don't have it, just put in the chat that you need it, and then I'll go back and make sure that you get it by the end of the day. Because there's no reason. Let me make this statement, and I'm just going to stop the screen share for a bit and put my video on. Let me make this statement and see what you guys think. I'm actually going to make the statement and ask everybody to comment on it and see why you think I say this. There's no need for you to join training to grow your business. Like training like this and training at the warehouse and anything we do on Zoom, you don't need it to grow your business. So first off, we can start off by saying happy birthday to Charmaine. Don't know if she's able to speak, if she's at work or not, but happy birthday. I take it from that silence that she's at work, so we'll go on to Denise. Denise, if you are able to put your camera on and your sound, and just let us know, what do you think of my statement that we don't need training? We don't need me to train you. You don't need Hazel to come and train you. You don't need any of these things to grow your business. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, if our third success habit is personal development, you can go and read up books and all, but you will waste your time because you don't know which books to read. And or you read a book and it's nothing in that can help you grow your business. But these training sessions are, what can I call it? Very important, because there's a lot of things. I'm using the product for how long, but I never knew all these things. And I've learned it in the training sessions. So I think it's very, very important. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so Denise disagrees with the statement. She says that much of what was learned in training sessions like this one. Okay, who's next on the list? Let's see. Kulsum, if you can speak in your public setting. Otherwise, you're welcome to type in the chat.
I'm having problems, and I'm sorry if I try to contact the people here, man. But let me just say happy birthday to Charmaine. May there be many more good ones. And then I know training is important. I know training is important because you have to find, you often only find yourself when you go to training and you realize a lot of things. Even today with me being so busy, if it wasn't for the training I've had in the past, I would never have thought of what I could have done differently today. But all these things are just working on my nerves because to me, I need my car and I'm trying to sort out my car. That's just one of the 3 things I have to do. And it's just a stumbling block this morning, but I'm getting it sorted out. But I feel training is most important if you really want to get your business up there. You can never do it on your own unless you have enough experience of business, of the past, of network marketing. Then you can say, I'll do it on my own. But for me, I depend a lot on training, and the training helps me overcome those excuses that I make and I have made, and the way I do things. I can't really.
Oh, we lost you there,
Russell, I
Kulsum.
can't hear you. I'm trying to check my volume, but
No, we
I'm
could hear you
listening.
the whole time until the last 5 seconds. But okay, thanks for that, Kulsum. Let's get some feedback from Lady You. What do you think about the statement that you don't need training to grow your business? You don't need to attend training to grow
Thank
your
you,
business.
Russell. Thank you for this opportunity and everybody. And happy birthday to you, Charmaine. I hope the Neo Life cake is ready for us. Thank you, all organic. Russell, I can't do without training. I have neglected it in the past, but now there's no way that I can do without training because training has got me in such a hype that I'm busy. I'm pushing every day. I work right now. I'm working. This is working for me. After this, I'm going to work again. I'm going back and back and back and back to the people that I spoke to. And what brought me to this stage? It's training. So there's no way that I can go without training.
I like
you,
what
Russell.
thanks, Lady. I like what you said there about you get a lot of hype from training, because I've felt that way when I used to, when the Kodalis used to have their Monday night training sessions in Para North, and I'd work in Goodwood. I'd work until 6 p.m. Training would start at 7, and it would be on my way home. But oftentimes, I work 11-hour shifts, a really intense job, and oftentimes I just want to go home and relax. Like I just want to go home and sleep. I'll be so tired. I feel like if I just lay down, I'll pass out. And I can't think of one time that I decided just to go to training, because it's on the way home. It would be silly of me to drive basically past their house to go. I can't think of one time that I regret going to training, because by the time I would leave there like 10, 11 o'clock sometimes, because we get carried away with sessions afterwards. And obviously like packing up and cleaning up and stuff. And I can't think of one time that I regretted it. I'd always be so energized when I left there that I'd struggle sometimes to fall asleep when I got home, And so I definitely agree with your comment that you get a lot of hype from when you attend training. And I think seeing the broader community, I don't know if for those of you that haven't attended our trainings in the last couple of years and pre-COVID, but there's the concept of, it's called social proof. And so when we attend training, let's say the Bloemfontein Convention as a big example, or the Near Life Convention, or even scaling it down a bit to the rallies, you know. What we see there is how many other people are also doing the business, how many other people are doing well in the business, for how many other people it's possible to make money and to grow your lifestyle and grow your business, you know. So I think that's a very important point that you made, that the hype that you get, but there's also the social proof that other people can do it, so why not me? You know, that's one of the things that would keep you sort of in the business, if that makes sense. One thing I want to actually just find quickly and display for you guys on the screen is let me just share my screen while I'm doing this. For those of you who have not yet at my Google Drive folder, I share it for free with everybody, that you can just go online and take whatever you need there. And it is basically a collection. Let me just show you quickly. It's a collection of everything that I've ever found to be useful in with regards to near life, and things that are slightly not near life but still can support you in your business. So I've got things like a folder called personal development, right? And inside there, I've got the ebooks folder. And inside there, I've got a whole lot of books that you might want to read. Of course, it's online, so you'd have to read it on your phone. But any books that I found over the years to be useful for me that you can actually read through and download for free there. Aside from that, in the business folder, we've got, for example, the price lists, and I've got different countries' price lists that I found over the years. Those need to be updated because there's new prices probably there as well. We've got invite videos, this market day tables, or the booths as they call them. This comes from the Louis Smith's website and some other resources as well. And then I've got products as well. So if you guys are looking for, let's say, for example, Super 10, right? And you log on to my Google Drive and you just type in there Super 10, you'll see Golden Super 10 comes up. And in that folder, not only do I have your adverts and things that you can send to people, I've got some of my own personal testimonials, like my oven cleaning one. I clean the car mag, for example, and that you can send to people as well. You've got fast facts. There's a old demonstration document as well that you can read through. There's loads of resources you guys can play around with if you go and look through that folder. So just coming back down to what we were talking about now, which is the hype that we get from training. And I wanted personal development probably. There's a concept called over the line, right? Looks like I'm gonna have to go and fetch that in a different place. Just bear with me there quickly. And what this means is that when you, let me find it first so that I don't try and explain something that you can't see. Just gonna download it first and add it to the. Okay, so what I was talking about earlier, social proof, it ties in nicely with this concept. I'll explain in a second. Just download it quickly. And we've got the, okay, there we go. Can you all see over the line? Anybody can type in the chat, yes? And then...
Yes, Russell.
Okay, thank you, Hazel. So the concept of over the line is something I think I heard by Eric Worre as well. And he says that on the one side of the line, it's easier to stay because you get these product experiences, you know, like you go through a product demonstration or you actually use the product yourself and you experience the benefits of it. You make new friends when you attend an event. You make new friends just on these training calls as well. Thanks, Denise. And there's ongoing learning as well. You know, I made a statement that training is not important, and immediately everybody disagrees, which is great because people understand that, you know, the ongoing learning is important. And you can see here that with the over the line concept, it's easier to stay in the business and it's easier to be positive. It's easier to be in have a good mindset and a good attitude because you're doing things and you're experiencing things that are making it easier for you to stay, right? And when you start making profit, when you get your sales volume bonus, when you forgot about the month end already and that money SMS pings on your phone, you know, that's an awesome feeling. Whether it's 50 Rand, 100 Rand, 1,000 Rand, whatever it is. And then you have these other incentive bonuses, like when we do the rally, even after you get your sales volume bonus, and then the Eagle team still gives you more money on top of that. You know, those things make it easier to stay in the business because it's reminding you why you're in the business. Then we've got the new customers and new distributors. When you get a new customer and you get a recurring customer order, that's also a good feeling. You know, and all of these things that make it easier to stay, I feel like it does so because it gives you a positive attitude and you feel good about the business. And yet, when things are not going well for you, you know, and we'll open up the chat now again for feedback on struggles that you've had in the business. But those struggles that we go through make it easier to quit. You feel like quitting, and there's nothing wrong with that feeling. You just need to understand that it's all about belief. It's all about how much do we believe that the business can work for us, that the products can work for us. And I think there's another element of believing in other people as well. I don't know why, but I feel like Hazel can also chip in on this point. But one thing that is a big deal for us as distributors is we need to have faith in other people.
Russell, can I just add to your question about the training?
Yes.
It was just awesome to hear that everybody said it was important. But many a times also for me, people feel, you know, that we're doing over and over the same thing. And that's not true. Because yes, we are doing, it seems like the same thing. But there's always, it's like the Bible, you know, you read the Bible, say, for example, Psalm 23, because everybody knows it. And it will have a message for you today. Tomorrow you use the same, the words is the same, everything, but it has a different message. And so with our training, I feel it's the same, because you'd never know when the penny is going to drop for you. So don't ever feel that you're wasting your time to go to rallies because all the rallies are the same. They are not the same. All the blooms are the same. All the conventions are the same. You always, if your mindset, if you're there to learn, I guarantee you will get something out of any training that you attend if you go with the intention to receive and then to give it out again. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Hazel. It just reminded me of this quote, and I've just managed to find a nice little infographic there. I'm actually just going to post it in the group. Now my WhatsApp's going to take forever to open. Lovely. Let me just save it somewhere so long. I think I've got too many things open.
Say what you want, Russell. Say what you want. It's going to open quick.
Oh, I got sucked into that one. Got caught out there. Thanks, Hazel. So there was a student that asked Einstein one day, aren't these the same questions as last year's final exam? And he said, yes, but this year the answers are different. And I think that is such an awesome quote, because oftentimes, you know, our knowledge in life, our understanding about life and everything that goes with it, business, products, whatever, especially if you're doing the 3 daily success habits daily, you are a totally different person today than you were yesterday, because you've got more experience, you've got more know-how. Let's say 12 months from now, you'll be a totally different person. And anybody that doesn't believe that, if you think of today, right, today is the 19th of September 2022 at 1:20. Can you remember what the most challenging thing in your life, the thing that was stressing you out the most at 1:20 on the 19th of September 2021? Exactly 12 months ago to the second, do you remember what was troubling you the most? And my guess is that you can't remember exactly what the thing that was stressing you out the most 12 months ago to the second was. And for me, that just speaks to think about the things that are bothering you the most now. And if 12 months ago, the biggest problem in your life was so big that you don't even remember it anymore, how important are the problems that you're going through now, you know? So I think if we look at the trainings that we go through, you'll find that every time we do the training, we've got more experience, we've got more knowledge. And why is my laptop not charging? That's not good at all. Tell me I have load shedding again. No, we don't. Let me just get my laptop charging before it switches off.
Okay, while Russell is busy,
There we go.
once again, you know, it is also so important that you are open to learn. Because remember, this business is it's a gift that you cannot keep. So if you don't have personal growth, how can you give something up that you don't have?
Thanks for that, Ez. I think one of the biggest or most important realizations about challenges and overcoming challenges that I've ever had, and it came probably, I realized it probably because of the business and the training we get in the business, is that we go through challenges in life sometimes not so that we can become stronger, because that on its own is almost pointless. You know, yes, now we can become stronger and next time it happens, we don't have to struggle because we know how to overcome it. But sometimes we become stronger so that we can help other people overcome those challenges, you know, because we have been through it, we can help other people overcome the same thing. And I know Hazel has said that before as well. You know, that is why we go through these things, so we can now help other people. And with that concept in mind, let me just close this. I don't have too many things open and break my laptop. Let's just go through the list quickly and find out from the guys, what is your biggest struggle that you've had? And for Charmaine and welcome, Ina, whoever's, even with Kulsum as well, if you're struggling to unmute yourself and speak, you can send it in the chat as well. But I'll give a few seconds just that you can try and unmute and try. Charmaine, are you able to reply to that? The first question is, what's the biggest struggle that you've had in the business? And I think we'll separate the questions this time. What is currently your biggest challenge in the business?
Everybody. I just want to rectify, am I the only Charmaine in the group?
Is it not your birthday?
No, it's Christine's birthday.
Christine! Okay, that was my fault. My fault. Just take it, Charmaine. You might get gifts. Just rather say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My biggest struggle in the business was talking. I have a fear of talking in front of people and getting up and giving my opinion about something. I can remember last week, Mark spoke about generosity, and I so much wanted to give my input, but that fear of talking. And then with the help of my wonderful upline, I just thought to myself, no. And Auntie Hazel kept on saying, she can do it, she can do it. And I did it. So I don't know what it is to speak, like in training, if we go to the warehouse, to get up there and talk there. I haven't been in that situation as yet. So in the business itself, that is my biggest fear. If somebody must say, right, like you said now, Charmaine, what is your opinion? I can speak now because I know nobody can see me. I'm talking to a phone. So it's fun for me at the moment. But if I should get up in training one day, or say, for instance, at the rally on a Saturday afternoon, somebody says, Charmaine, can you come forward and tell me your experience in Bloemfontein? Then I'll be like, I don't know what I'll do at that moment, but I'm just praying and I'm practicing at the moment at home what I'm going to say if the question should be put to me. So that is my biggest struggle at the moment.
Awesome.
As far as the training is concerned, I think it's very, very important to attend training, even if you only listen, because there's always something that somebody says that you pick up, and then you think to yourself, yo, that is what I should have done. Or now I know, say for instance, about carotenoids. Mark said the other day he drank 6 carotenoids and it helped him on the road. He was traveling somewhere. I didn't know that. I thought to myself, okay, if I take 2 carotenoids per day, it will be fine. So if you increase your supplements, it also helps with your health. So training is really very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Charmaine. I'm gonna post, or what is the word? I'm gonna put the question to you guys now. How do you overcome that fear of talking in front of people? Have any of you been through the same fears? Mary Lisa, maybe you might have been through something as well where you maybe didn't want to speak in front of the group. Maybe it wasn't fear, but something else. Anybody that's been through that fear of talking in front of people that you can give some advice of how you overcame it?
Yes, I tell you, I couldn't talk in front of people either.
Pero-
And what I did was, I remember when I was at college, somebody told us, when you talk to somebody, pretend you look, forget around, you just look to somebody that you see, and you talk to that person. So that is how I started getting used to talking to people and talking to in crowds. I was look at somebody that I know, and I would like talking to them, and then everybody else. And that's how I overcame talking to people, is by looking to a person that you see, that you know, and you just look to that person, and you look and you just with your eyes. And that is how I actually started talking about to other people. Yeah, that's the way you do it.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Meryl. That was very good. Mary Lisa?
Russell, how can you ask me that question?
Why?
Exactly,
You
Mary
do you have a fear of talking in front of people?
People need to ask me to shut up. No.
So there was
no.
never a time that you struggled. You were always asked to shut up.
Yes, actually, from the time I was born, I've
You
never
were
had a fear of
actress.
speaking. Yeah, but I did have a fear of when I had to sing, because singing is very different from talking. And the only way I could overcome that was to prepare, to do my warm-ups, to do my scales, and to be on my knees before God and ask Him to help me. And that works with everything. Have the then I don't know what other methods people have, but that has always been so being prepared. I don't know what to use instead of voice warm-ups, but I suppose you can, they say you can do mouth exercises even when you talk, when you need to talk. You know, stretch your mouth and your pull funny faces and so on to make your face relaxed. And if you are well prepared, then you don't have to fear about that, and then ask God for help. That's my advice for everything.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was awesome,
Okay,
Mary Lisa. Yes.
So I had a very big challenge with talking. Number one, because ek is 'n Afrikaanse meisiekind, and ek is regtig Afrikaans, okay? And when I started the business, suddenly everything was for England, and I thought, oh Lord, help you know, because now I have the fear of talking. Give me a child and I can make magic. But it was always a challenge for me. I think that is why the children is laughing when I say that. I had one boyfriend and that was my husband, you know, because I would not talk to people. That is just, so I always had this fear of, I don't know. Yeah. But, and then of course coming into the business, and it's like Mary Lisa said, and because I grew fast when I came into the business, after realizing I am sick and tired of being sick, because I was very sick when I joined the business, I grew fast. And then they would, and I was thinking of Charmaine when she was talking now, and when you're at a presentation, they would call you up. So you never knew. So they would call me up every time. And we had every evening we had presentations. So it was just like next level, super awesome, you know, because you stand there and jou broek bewe dat het goed gaan. And the one thing I always said, Lord, just tell me what to say, even if it makes a difference in one person's life. And it was amazing. Ek sê altyd die Here het 'n sin vir humor, because then people would come back and say, you know what, I didn't understand anything but what you said. And that gave me more confidence. And so today I'm like, Mary Lisa, you need to tell me to, shut up. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Hazel. So you had the language barrier and a fear of talking to adults because you mostly dealt with children. And what was the thing that stood out the most for you, Hazel, that got you over that fear? Was it just the value that you had to share with them? How would you sort of package it?
I think it is the value, yes, but also like when I started the business, I realized very quick that this was a gift from God and that I needed to give it out. And like you said, you know, many times He allow you to go through things so that that can make a difference in other people's lives. So, because when people see me now, they say, but you always excited, you always positive, blah, blah, blah. And I think, if you just knew. And many times I use my story and I believe that it helps a lot of people. That is exactly what happened to Charmaine. I can't wait because she's busy, you know, developing to this amazing butterfly. Yeah, can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks, Ina. I will catch your message as well, and then we'll make sure that you get a copy of the recording as well, so you can see what the answers was. I'm not going to read it just yet, though. Is there anybody else that has anything to say about fear of talking in front of people? Something that you've gone through? Okay, so just try to be a bit faster on the trigger if you guys do want to say something, so that we don't have too much long spells of thanks, Ina. Long spells of silence when we ask. But I think from my side, you guys might not believe it, but I had a big fear of speaking in front of people. For me, I was so quiet at one stage of my life. I probably didn't even want to speak to one person, like never mind a group of people. And I hadn't overcome this fear yet. And I went to Bloemfontein and what is that guy's name? Andrew Bugembe, I think it was. That came to me, I can't remember. But he comes to me and he's like, on the Saturday, he tells me that I need to speak. On Sunday, I'm part of a youth panel. I'm coming to watch the Bloemfontein convention. I didn't come there to speak in front of the crowd. And they're telling me I need to be part of a young people's panel to talk about these 6 topics, and he gives me a page with 6 questions. So that was a bit of a steep learning curve for me. But one thing I learned through that process, and it's very similar to what Mary Lisa said about preparation and practice and doing exercises and things like that to help overcome your fear. What I had then done that night is I just brainstormed 10 things to say for every question. And when it came to actually give my answer on stage, okay, I was like nervous like how, but I only remembered like 2 or 3 things of the 10 of each thing that I had to say, but that was enough. And one of the questions that was posed was that something to do with what sort of like what is the one thing one piece of advice that you'd give to the younger people out there. And what I said was, don't belittle or don't underestimate the value that you have to give to the world. Because what I was realizing through that experience was that, like Hazel just said now, and that's also what sparked this memory now, is that you've been through things. You know, you've got this knowledge, you've got this experience, and someone else also alluded to it. I think it was Meryl, that something you say might just resonate with one person in the crowd, and that one person might be the next director, the next 2 Ruby, the next 3 Diamond, 5 Diamond, whatever, you know. And it's like this exercise. If you guys have been to the Bloemfontein convention, the exercise they do on the Sunday where they pass the light around at the end. Is it the Sunday or the Saturday night? I can't actually remember now. Where everybody gets the candle. Hazel, when does that happen again?
The Saturday.
The Saturday night, eh?
Yeah.
I was figuring so, because Sunday it's the light when we finish. And it's like passing that light on, you know, it's symbolic of the value that we have to share with people. Now, when you think of value, you might think maybe of maybe monetary terms and that, but there's a element of overcoming challenges that we just spoke about. Fear of talking to people. And here we've had 3, and with my own example is 4. And if we push deeper with everybody's probably got their own story of at some point needing to overcome this sort of fear of just talking to people, or in Mary Lisa's case, singing to people. And just how did you overcome that? You can teach somebody else to use that same way. You know, that might be the exact thing they need to hear. So I think we can move off that topic quickly. I just want to catch what was said in the chat. You can find where the chat is. So Ina was saying, just joining for a few minutes, my biggest struggle is to get and keep momentum. So I'm just gonna type that in here. Get and keep momentum. As well as learning more about the business and products. Unfortunately, we don't have on anymore to elaborate on that. Let's put it in there. But business and products. Greatest joy is starting to include product and/or opportunity ideas in general conversations, like planting seeds. I don't know if any of you understand what she's saying here, but I think what she's getting at is when you have conversations with people, you mention little things that sort of spark the conversation and direct the conversation towards what you want to talk about. And I remember Charles Kodali would always say to us in training that, you know, you'd get into a lift and be so excited, and people would ask him, what are you so excited about? And that would just start the conversation, that he didn't even need to start the conversation with him. You know, just by his demeanor and his attitude, people will be drawn to him. And I think that's where we need to get to with, you know, planting these seeds that Ina's talking about. Let's just use the first thing that you said here and ask for anybody's input on that. Getting and keeping momentum, so that consistency. What do you guys think is, what have you gone through that you've overcome that has given you sort of a way to keep up that momentum and consistency? Anybody that's gone through struggling to be consistent and that you managed to overcome it? Let's see, Zoe, are you able to chat with us? Or are you at work? Lady, you can.
Hi,
Is it
yeah,
hi, Zoe?
hi, Russell. Yes, yeah, I do. Especially if the people are negative towards I introduce to them. Also want to add on the standing in front of the people and address people.
Mm.
But if I know and understand the subject that I'm going to speak about, then
Mm.
it means I gain that confidence of standing
Mm.
there. But consistent, yes, I know I still have to work on that one. Because when the person shows no interest, when I approach a person, it's difficult for me to go back
Mm.
and make a person to understand that he can change or can change her or his life or on financial side or health side.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very important to have that realization, I think, because I just want to find the section here where he talks about different lists that he makes in the Ultimate Memory Jogger. But there's different, like once we have our list of names, remember that is the starting point for today's training, right? Your names list. Once we have that list of names, we actually have to go back to that list and separate them into people that are maybe close friends and family, other people that maybe need the product, other people that maybe that need the business side of things. And then there's even an indirect approach. One of the approaches is where you actually go to someone and say, listen, I know you're not interested in the product or the business. You know, you've said that to me already, but is there anybody else that you know of? And I actually have a story on that as well, where there was somebody I was speaking to and they said, ah, they're not interested in this, whatever. I said, fine, no problem. And then like, at a different stage, on a different day, I asked him, look, I know you're not interested in the business net, but do you know of anybody? Can you give me a few names of people who would be open to learning about the business opportunity where you can make money in dollars and pounds and all of these other currencies? And immediately that person was suddenly interested in what I had to say. You know, so that was like a complete 180 in the attitude on what I was talking about, because suddenly I hit a nerve and they realized, like, hang on, this is something that I might be interested in finding out more about. And I think there's been a trend or an idea that's been forming in some of our trainings now, that we sometimes just throw information at people without actually knowing what they need. You know, I think that is one place that we are too over eager to get the result, that we don't spend enough time finding out what is the need of this person. So I'm going to jump straight into another one of my here we go. Another one of here we go, of my infographics. And I've got this infographic. I shared it with you guys before, but just to add on to what Zoe said there, the first thing we need to do when we speak to people is obviously just connect with them on an emotional level. So get to know the person, right? Not give them the price list, not give them the link to our website so that they can buy online. Connect with them. Just be human and make that human connection with it. Get to know them a little bit. And in that getting to know them, and I know Hazel, we did this before, but I think it's worth reiterating. When you speak to people, what sort of things do you say to them? What do you ask them? You know, and for me, the big thing you really need to do is ask them questions, right? That's important. But it needs to be questions that gives you more information about their life and information that you can use to help them. Right. So what kind of information would you use to help them? Well, it would be information where you can identify what it is they need. Because whatever it is that they need, it all boils down to we have the solution in terms of the business or the product. Right? It's either money or health. That's one of the two things that most people's problems come down to. Either money or health. So when you say identify the need, you've now connected with the person, you've greeted them, exchanged your pleasantries, whatever, you have an emotional connection, getting to know them a little bit, maybe small talk and that. But now you start to ask some really important questions. And let's just start with basics, like something as simple as, and I think Hazel, you will actually be better at explaining this part of it, but just getting to know how much kids do they have, where do they go to school, and that sort of thing. Hazel, how do you sort of get people to open up on who they are and what their family life is like, what kind of needs they may have?
Okay, you know what? I never think about it. I always just start by talking, and then the big thing is, remember, it's not about you. I think that's the most important thing, is it's not about you. It's all about the person that you just met now. So get the connection, and then it's amazing when you start asking questions, people keep on answering. For example, the other day I was in Cape Union Mall, and this guy was busy with a jacket, but now it's a man, and suddenly he smiled, and then he started to talk, and then I was busy with my own thing, and then I realized, oh my God, really, am I going to leave this guy? And then when I went to the till, he was there again, and I turned around, and then not realizing that his wife was standing at the till. But remember, I have my goal. And so I didn't worry about his wife, because I just said, you know what? And she could hear. I said, you're so friendly. I may have something that can change your wife and your life. And without hesitation, he gave me the number. So at that stage, I didn't know anything about him. I just got his number. And then, like, for example, I would have the same thing and walk away and know exactly where they live, how many kids, because I always tell myself, because the shop was full when I was there, but I always make sure that remember why you are doing it. So I need to know where they live so that I can know, do I really want to work with them? Because if it's a place that I can't work, then what's the use of, So where do they live? Are they married? How many kids do they have? Little things that, so I always ask the question, and then they reply. And it's amazing when you talk about people, how people love to talk about themselves. So they automatically open. And I would always walk away and say, you know what? That is most of the time how I end my conversation is. I always say, you know what? We were now talking like we know each other for forever. May I have your contact number? Maybe we can go for coffee one day. And then that is how I get. Once in my life did I have somebody that said they can't give out their numbers. And then I say, no challenge, I understand fully. But the big thing I think that you must keep in mind when you talk is what is your purpose, and it's all about the person that you're talking to. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you, Hazel.
And keep it natural, keep it, be yourself. That's the thing. Be yourself at all times, because people can see through you when you have motives. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's very important. There's one thing that people really do struggle with, and that is knowing what to say. And I was talking to Denise when we were waiting for people to come online, and saying how knowing what to say is one thing, but a lot of these scripts and things that we find online, a lot of the people are American. So they use words like great, and what was the other things we said, Denise? If you can remember, you can just pop one and remind me there.
Hey.
Yes,
say
they say, hey. Those kind of things that we don't necessarily say it in the same way. We wouldn't sound like that when we say it. Yet if we take the script as is, like for example, take number 6 here. If you had the money, would you jump at this opportunity? Something like that. Not just that that like some American that would say it. Just would you say it like that? So take the script, but make it your own. have your own scripts. And I've been saying this in the last couple of trainings as well. Do you have a script where this is how you would say it? You know, that you actually just have a couple of sentences for each kind of situation, where you would know what to say, especially if you're struggling with what to say. And why we're bringing this up with getting and keeping momentum is because if we take the first,
Russell,
somebody
can
want,
I just add quick before you? The other
right?
thing is also that you as the upline, if you know your downline has a challenge, go with them. You know, we used to do that a lot, and I think that is why Darren is much better than what I am, because he would come and then say, "Let's go shop for names," you know,
Mm.
and then we would go together at the end of the day. So I did that a lot. I don't know why I stopped, because it really works. Thank you.
Well, that's awesome. So the starting point for today's training was getting names, right? The second thing is what you say to those people, right? So at the end of the day, you want to actually invite them to a tool. You know, you want to invite them to either look at the product, or you want to invite them to find out more about the business. So if we look back at the Network Marketing Pro list, the first thing is finding prospects. And if you want to find them, and once you find them, what do you do with the person's name and number? Well, you put it on a list. You're building a phone book, basically. And recently I've been making this example of, think of any business, right? Can you think of any business that will go out there with the intention of only having 5 customers for the month? Like, there's no business that's even going to be able to pay their overheads, their rent and their staff with just 5 customers. You know, they're hoping for hundreds, thousands, 10,000 customers in the month. And a lot of those businesses, if you think of just your average retail store, might not even have the name and number of their customers. You know, these days we have these cards that everybody gives out, the loyalty cards. I mean, you go to Spar, they ask you, do you have the Spar rewards card? You go to Builders Warehouse, they ask you, do you have the Builders Warehouse rewards card? In fact, the cash card. And all that actually happens on the cash card is that they know your name, your phone number, and every time you buy, you swipe. You don't get anything for swiping, but they know who you are and what you bought. Right? And this is, I mean, a company that's national. If I don't know if they're international or not, Builders Warehouse, for example, they must get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every month. So my point here is, why don't we have growing lists of hundreds of thousands of people if we want to grow a big business? You know, if you think of even these little spaza shops, even they have hundreds of people coming there every month. The spaza shop isn't trying to trying to grow a business on 5 people. So we need to have much more than 5 people on a list. Right? And you can't keep that in your mind. You need to have it on paper or on some sort of database. So the first thing is having the database. The second thing, knowing what to say. And that takes us on to the point of actually inviting people. So that is another thing on getting and keeping momentum. Do we know who to speak to? Do we know what to say and how to invite them? Because I think the momentum stops when our list ends, right? And then we sort of slow down. Who do we speak to? But why did we let it get to that point? Why is there no names on the list? It's not that we don't know more people. Just because the number isn't physically on your phone doesn't mean that you don't know other people that's not on that list. So if we look then at, just find my bearings here. And there we go. If we look at what they refer to as the triple opt-in. So now we've got our list of names. Oops, there we go. We've got a list of names, but what do we actually say to them? Seems like the quality of this picture is a bit bad. Let me go out and actually get the original on my PC. That one. Zoom in better, yeah. That's much better. So the
Russell?
triple, yes, Hazel.
Can we make the recording short? So
What do you mean?
I don't know if it's possible, you know, instead of going so that we have chapter by chapter, something like
I'll
that.
have to
I'm
I'll
just
have to chop it up afterwards, yes, Hazel.
but because I didn't want you to have extra work, so to just stop it and then
No, but
that's why I'm asking.
I'll have to chop it up like that in any case. I think that's gonna be
Oh,
the best way.
all right.
So that
Thank
we
you.
can do each of these tools separately, basically. But initially, I'm going to post the full video as well. What we
Okay.
can also do is, instead of me having to chop it up, remember how we also just took note of which time each topic started? And YouTube has a way, if you put that time in the description, you can actually select the topic in the description and then it jumps to that section. And you can then actually share the video from that point onwards.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
then I don't spend so much time like editing the video and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's different ways we can do it. I think that's going to be the simplest moving forward. So the triple opt-in, this is now, we've got the names, what do we say to them? So now we've spoken to the person, we found the need, but now that you know the person has kids, let's just say, okay, I meet the person, we speak about their kids, they say, oh, the kids are at the creche still, they've got 5 kids, but it's always one that's sick. And they just worried that they're going to get some sort of, you know, they're going to get maybe chicken pox or whatever it is. They're just worried about the child's health and they don't know what to give the child. Now you found the need, right? And do we have the answer for such a challenge? Yes, we do. We've got the most awesome product for kids. So how would you then bring up the point that you have that answer? And if you look on the screen, for those of you that can read, just let me know if I have to zoom in a bit more. Maybe I should just try. Here we go. And the question that you need to ask then is, if I, would you? Right? That's all you need to remember. If I, would you? So there's 2 parts to the question. The first part is the value that you have to offer them. And the second part is what they need to do to actually receive that value, right? Remember we spoke about value earlier on. So here's an example. If I shared a link with you, would you check it out? So we're not talking about any complicated things here. If I shared a link with you that shows an awesome product that helps protect kids and give them an opportunity to grow their health or whatever it is, if I could share a link with you that did X, Y, Z, would you have a look at it? Right? That's all you're asking in the first question. Call it triple opt-in because there's 3 things you do. First thing is you ask them, if I provide value, would you receive it? Right? So it's as simple as that. Sometimes people tend to ask for more information before they want to commit to that question. So you say, if I shared a link with you that that gives more information on an amazing product for kids and their health, would you check it out? It'll be like, well, it depends. What's it really about, you know? And an important thing to realize at that point is you have value that they need. They can either take it or they can leave it, right? You don't have to tell them that, and not in that way. But what you can say is that I understand you want more information, but everything you want to know is on the clip. And the fastest way for you to really understand what I am talking about will be for you to review that video or that pamphlet or whatever it is. And it's awesome if you're speaking to the person face to face and you actually have the pamphlet with you, you know, because then you can tell them, like, the fastest, I'm not an expert, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I have this pamphlet that has all the information on the product, on VitaSquares or on Liquivite or on VitaGuard or on NutriShake, whatever it is. And the fastest way for you to really understand anything about this product is to actually just look at it, because I won't be able to tell you the information better than the actual tool. So if I give it to you, would you have a look? Right? You just want to know, will they look at it if you shared it with them? And once they say yes, look, if they say no, they're not interested, fine. That's they want to live with that problem for the rest of their life or until the next time you contact them, that's fine. And that is why having a names list is important, because you need to be in a hurry. The list should be growing faster than what you can get to it. And if people say no, then that's okay. You don't waste more time with them. You can go on to the next person on the list. But let's say they say yes, right? And remember the 80-20 rule? You're going to have most people that are negative in the world and just in general are skeptical as well. You're going to have that 80-20 rule, the 20% that are going to say yes at the end of the day. And when they say yes, by when? When do you think you will have watched it? So you're not going to say by when, because obviously being abrupt like that, and you're going to add to your 80 instead of the 20. But when do you think you'll have a chance to have reviewed the pamphlet or the video or whatever it is? And again, you're going to have some people that's going to give you some resistance in that dark reddish color there. Well, sometime on Monday, sometime on Tuesday, sometime next week. And this is a point now where you need to really start getting more assertive and just let them know that you are professional and you are serious about your time, and say, look, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Why don't we just commit to a time when you'll have seen it for sure? Right? So get them to actually commit to a day and a time. And if they say, okay, well, look, I'll have watched it by 4 p.m. because I'll finish work and I can quickly watch a 3-minute clip on my phone. Okay, so if I called you at, let's say 4:10 today, you'll have seen it for sure. Right? So for most people that we speak to, if they watch it immediately, that's fine. But others might watch it by the next day. And we don't want to, so this is something you can actually say to them. If there's any resistance about confirming the time, you say, look, most people we speak to watch it immediately, but others watch it by the next day. We don't want to waste time by contacting you if you haven't watched it yet. So we're just confirming a time that suits you, right? And then they might say, okay, definitely by 4 o'clock, I'll watch it. And if you call me by 4:10, that's fine. I'll have watched it by then. The second thing you're going to confirm is, okay, so I can call you on your cell phone number. That's fine. They'll say yes and say, great. Well, okay, got it. We'll talk then. I've got some more calls to make. Thank you for your time. Right? However, you're going to say that, try to have that in a script so that it comes naturally as well, so that you're used to saying it. And that is the triple opt-in. So just to go over it again, if I shared information with you that can help you, remember, if I gave you the value, would you receive it? It's a different way of putting the question. If I give it to you, would you review it? By when would you have watched it? So if I called you at such and such a time, so you're confirming date and time. And the second confirmation is the method. How are you going to contact them? And the one important thing here is to get them to give you these things. Get them to tell you what date and time. Get them to tell you the best method or mode of contact. And once they confirm that, you pencil it down in your diary or on your calendar and onto the next name. So if we did a blitz call, for example, right, and we can actually do an example now and then come back for feedback. If we went out and contacted, let's say, 3 people and practiced this, I'm going to leave this on the screen, and we can do a quick blitz session now as well. Hopefully you guys can read that. Hazel, can you read it? I think you're on your phone.
Yes, Russell.
Okay, so if you can read it on your phone, anybody on the laptop can definitely read it. So we're going to do a quick blitz session. What happens in the blitz session is that we will, everybody will leave the call. We'll come back. Let's make it 20 minutes. So I'm going to make it 26 minutes. So say 2:30, we'll be back online. And the task now is to go out and contact as many people as you can in that time. Remember, we spoke about connecting with them, finding what it is that they need, and then inviting them by using the triple opt-in. By saying, if I shared something with you, would you watch it? By when? To confirm 1 and confirm 2. I think the challenge that we have at a time like this is that most people are at work. So you want to focus maybe on Facebook if you're on Facebook. if the people on your list, are at work and they're not going to be able to respond to the invite now, what you can also do is just send them a simple offer to get together for coffee. Or Hazel, do you want to elaborate on that that variation of this, where you just send one word or two words like coffee, or how you did that task with us in the past?
Yes, the big thing now is, guys, that's why your name list is so important, because with the Blitz, you must have your name list. Okay, so you will work from your name list. But I think there was somebody that wasn't sure how to do Facebook. So now is also a good time to just go into your Facebook and then just go to Messenger and then ask, can I would really appreciate it if you send me your details, because I think I have something super awesome to share with you. And then also the people that there's a lot of people, especially now with COVID, that we all didn't see for a very long time. So it's just now for the next 20 minutes, you will just say hi, like I did this morning with two of my friends. I sent a picture of the three of us and said, miss you guys. And they said, me too, can't wait to meet, So whatever will work for you, you send it to your people. Just say, since COVID, we didn't see each other, or since COVID, we didn't talk. Was just thinking of you. That's it. And it's amazing what you will get out of just by sending that to people. So it's not even an invitation. It's just you just connecting and just see, and then you take it from there.
Awesome.
Does anybody
have any questions about what the task is?
Yes. Can I just ask you something, Russell?
Sure.
Yesterday I went to church and I met a few people on the bus. I always talk to people. And I sent some video and I said, by when would you be able to watch it? And please let me know. I got a message today with somebody, and this lady said, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to listen to the video at about 3 o'clock. So now I must go back to her. So now I've given all my names that I spoke to yesterday. I've given them a video. Plus, or by when would you be able to watch it and to give me some feedback? So now I haven't heard of some of it. Only one person I heard. So now what do I do now?
Can I just answer quick, Russell?
Sure, go ahead.
The big thing, Meryl, is and I told you that before already. It is important for everybody on the call. Remember, if you talk to somebody, your big thing is not to give them the business, not to have the PV. Don't even think of that, but to make a friend. So when you talk to them the first time, yes, when you talk to them the first time, you don't, unless there is that connection. Many times you can do it immediately, but most of the times it is by the third, the fourth, even the sixth contact that people are open. So the big thing is not to excel the tref and trap, where you're so in a hurry to get people into your business that you don't give them, because they will think, who's this lady? I don't even know her. She just spoke to me now, and now she's giving me this thing. I don't even know. And remember, especially these days, people do not trust each other, and you can't blame people. So we need to build a relationship. Very, very important. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks, Hazel. Does that answer your question, Meryl?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to break away now for 20 minutes and just give everybody a chance to give feedback on who they contacted, how they contacted them, what they said. And then we'll meet back at 2:30. So I'll stop the recording, but I'll leave the group open in case you have any questions. I'll leave the Zoom on. Just stop the recording now.